Oh man, I don't want people to see me pissing.
George is having a... I'll get back down. So today we're going to be going through the most used card technique or sleight technique in the whole of the magic industry, I'd probably say, which is obviously the double lift. I'm going to be running through my method of doing it and what I used to use as well. I now do it differently to what people showed me. When I first started magic, I first learned it in a strange way. A way that I felt more comfortable with doing it, but over time with people sort of giving me hints and tips, professional working magicians, so I would post on forums, that sort of thing, of my way of doing it, which wasn't specifically really the correct way of doing it, but it was my way that I felt comfortable, because a lot of magicians, they will say the way you turn over 2 cards with the double lift should be the exact way that you do your single lift, and that way it gives it the natural effect of turning over 1 card whilst performing the sleight, if you understand. So firstly, I'll just strip it completely bare. So the first thing you want to do is catch your double card. So say you've collected 2 cards there. Now you want to hold what's called a pinky break. So it's where you get your pinky and you just catch it. See, with the fleshy part there, that will then sit in between the 2 cards that you've pulled and the rest of the stock. So now you want to come across with the other hand and latch on to the break. So once you've caught that, you can then lift it up whilst maintaining pressure on the thumb. I then slide my fingers across, catch the whole card, and then what I'm doing there, if you look, is I'm keeping the 2 cards pressed together to eliminate any chance of the spectator seeing that there's 2 cards. I then slide it all the way across to the side there, and I essentially dip it in to the crack there between my fingers and the deck. I then let that catch, and then it just tips over then. Now, as you can see there, you can obviously see that there's 2 cards. This is because I'm doing it slowly. But when you do this fast, and catch the break there, and then put it into the crevice between the stock and the finger, as you move that across quickly, it'll be 1, too quick for the spectator to see, and 2, it will also fall quickly, which will then eliminate any sort of break or any sort of double up on any cards. So once I've flipped it over like that, I then move my fingers straight over the top of it and then square up the cards to reduce any risk of seeing that there was essentially a break somewhere. So now I'll go to how I used to perform the double lift. We'll skip out the first phase because obviously I've already taught that, of where you've caught your pinky break with the flesh of your pinky there. Now this is how I used to do it. So I used to come across with my thumb instead of my finger like with the other double lift. So I used to come across with my thumb there, and I would essentially push off slightly and catch with my middle finger just there like that. This then allows me to pick up both cards, and as you can see, if you're not looking from the back, you can see just the front, which still looks like 1 card. But what I'm then going to do is then slide across, and then I put pressure on my thumb there and I start to rotate, and as it rotates I then push the cards into my fingers there and then place it back down. And once I've finished placing it back down, I can then slide my fingers across, and that eliminates again any risk of the spectator seeing that there's 2 cards in the break there. Primarily, the main thing you want to learn how to do with the first phase is catching your pinky break. We'll use an overemphasized grip of the deck just for educational purposes. So what I do is, with the flesh of my thumb there, I reach across, catch the first, and then go down again and catch the second, if you can see there, and then I even them up by pressing my index finger down, and then that presses them together. But from the front, you won't be able to see that, the spectator won't be able to see that there's 2 cards being collected there. as you can see, I've then lifted up the cards with my pinky just naturally falling that way because of the grip of the cards. All I then have to do is just allow them to fall on top of my flesh of my pinky there, which is then your pinky break.
Oh man, I don't know if people can see me picture.
George is having a... I'll get back down. So like I said about with the double lift, so somewhere deep down in someone's mind, if you're doing a double lift in a strange way, if you're essentially turning a card over in a strange way, subconsciously that spectator will be thinking in their mind that something is off from what they've usually seen, because chances are people play, I don't know, like poker, or they'll play card games or anything like that with their family and friends. So when they see you dealing out cards, the only thing they can think of at that time is essentially how they deal cards, if you get me. So when you're dealing out one card or you're turning over one card, and if anything looks suspicious in any sort of way, all they're thinking of is how they would turn over one card, if that makes sense. Right guys, thanks very much for checking out the channel and checking out the video. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel as well. I'll be posting as much as I can, really, of tutorials, methods, routines, anything like that, anything I can on the channel. Any questions you've got as well, I can respond to them in the comment section below as well. Thanks very much.